Let me start the recording. Right. Let's quickly go through the Selenium IDE GUI. So I'm going into the tools and click on the Selenium IDE. Whatever we have just understand by some documentation yesterday, sorry. The same thing we are just going quickly today. Let's say you can see here, this is my Selenium IDE window where I have just notified that whenever you will just very first time open up the Selenium IDE, by default the recording is gonna be on. So here you can see the record button is on. You have to just stop it if you want to click on it. The base URL on which you want to test your application, so the base URL will goes here. If I want to control my execution from fast to low, I can just select this option by which I can control my execution. This is my one test case. Here I can select lots of test cases along with like untitled one. Then I can just let me just change with test case 2, let's say, right? So like let me, right? So this how, let's say there are a variety of test cases I have. Then I can run the specific test case along with this. If I want to run a whole test shoot, then I have to use this button, play entire test shoot. Either I can use this play current test case. If I want to pause my execution, I have to use pause button. If I want to click on the next step, that is, let's say one step is there, second, third, on so on, I have lots of steps I have. I want to move on another step, then I need to use this step button. Yeah, roll up. What is roll up? So actually the roll up stands for let's say I have one very interesting scenario as a real-time automation. Like what I can say is let's say I want to do automation on the Gmail application. So ideally I have to just locate my username, I have to locate my password, I have to click on the sign in button, and then it will bring me out in the login area. So what exactly happens here? I have 4 or 5 steps that defines my login scenario or login script in my Selenium IDE. So my purpose is, let's say I have to first log in and then I want to check the sent mail thing and then I want to log out. So ideally, if you can see, if there are 4 or 5 steps I have that I have used to perform the login, then let's say later on again I want to do something with my Gmail. So again I have to log in it. Again I have to click on the draft, or what say we can say sent mails, or on whatever you want to refer. So most often we can say my login scenario is quite common in both the cases. I can just call my scenarios number of times wherever I need. So rather calling or rather writing my 4 or 5 steps put together, I will call some functions as roll up, and then this button is get enabled. So we'll see in detail practically in the rollup, but most often whenever you will create any function which just modularize your number of test script steps, by which you can call it later on so many times as per your need in your current test script, then that is known as my rollup, right? So we'll see when this rollup is like get added. You can see the rule here in the rollup tab on the console. Yes, this is the main ID area, as I have just mentioned in the last session. Like command goes here, those are my Selenium commands. Target, which gives me a address or the locator, and the value will show me the value of it. Along with it, let's say another thing we have is like, yes, by default whenever I click on the save test case, it will show all the test cases in the HTML format. You can see the source as well as whatever you will record it. Another one is you want to add some comment for the specific command, then you can just give the comment as well as by insert new comment, along with if you want to define some detailed scripting during your runtime, then you can just give it a comment that is not a part of execution. It's just kind of a intelligence that you can give. Then actions like to record it, to play back the entire shoot, to run the current test shoot. Yes, toggle breakpoint in the set breakpoint is quite unique thing. What is the toggle breakpoint in the set clear breakpoint? Consider that at one point there are lots of 10s or 20s of commands put together in my one single test script. Now what is test script? As we know, like the area where we are defining the command, target and value put together with lots of actions. So generally those is my test script. So in my test script there are, let's say, 10s or 20s of steps. I don't know why execution get failed. So to debug my whole script one by one, I can set up my, we can say, this breakpoints, toggle breakpoint, like to execute it, then set to set the breakpoint on the specific command, or we can say to set a specific point. So we'll see in detail today like how we can set the breakpoint as well as. Along with this, I have some options. Yes, just click on the options. By default, in the options tab, this checkbox is unchecked by default whenever you will install your Selenium IDE. That is my enable experimental features. By default, it should be unchecked. So I am just making unchecked now. Click on OK. Now, as in my PPT, once I have notified that Selenium supports scripting on the variety of language like C#, Java, Python, Ruby, PHP. So consider that what I am doing is I am recording one basic scenario over here, right? I am just copying this URL. Just clearly observe the things. I am copying this URL. I am just doing the simple record and playback. Okay, I am copying this one and I am pasting it over here like this. Along with this, let's say the another URL appended with 2013 and the form. So I'll copy this. And by default, I want to open this URL, so I will give a command like open. I will paste and append the URL along with the above one. So like this, I will give it slash and then appending the URL. Or after doing this all, what you can do if you are just doing the recording, just start the recording button on. I'm just copying this one. In the Selenium IDE, just make sure that you just click on to the record button. Now my recording is on. And now whatever the activities I will do, it will show me all those activities put together. So I'm just copying this URL. I'm pasting this URL for the recording purpose. I'm pressing enter now. You can see first name, last name and those things. So I'm just adding those. Let's say my first name is, let's say, Rana. Then some let's say last name I'm just giving as, it's kind of hidden text box, so we can't add the values here. You can see only it is editable. Then I'm selecting some check boxes. I'm selecting some radio buttons. I am trying to deal with the Mexico, India. I'm adding it in the right side, right? I can select some values on the drop down, let's say Audi, and I'm clicking on the submit query, let's say, right? And it's waiting for the time left, like 6 seconds or something like that. And whatever I've done, I'm just stopping this scenario. You can see. So this is all about we got like during my recording. What I have done, I have just kept my recording button on. As a beginner, this is the very first step to record it and to playback. So I have just recorded my session by clicking on the record button. You can see I have to open up the URL over here. Like you can see the appended URL like 2013/09/testing.html. That is my form name. Now the type is my command. Let's say if I want to type something like this, the middle column is showing me the locators. We are just trying to get familiar with the locators, and we have just gone through the basic term. But so far, let's say if I will record it only, by default those locators I don't need to give even manually. This will be recorded automatically. So it's like just capturing your activities. Your tool is learning your activities that you are doing on your application, and then after it is giving you a result on the console, right? So we can see, let's go through this test script one by one. I have just opened up the URL first. I have typed something in my first name text field, that is my Rana, the name. Then I have just click on the vehicle, name equal to vehicle, right? Then I have just selected the second value of my vehicle, that was, let's say I have a car, or let's say I have a boat, whatever the value you are picking it. Then I have clicked on the gender, like male or female. Then I have add some selection, like add selection is my command which adds two values from Mexico to, or we can say India, to the right side of the section. Then I want to click on the submit query, so I have just given the button submit. Then the select, like CSS equal to select for this drop down, and I have clicked on the Audi. The label was Audi that I want to select from the drop down, and finally I have clicked on the submit button. So all in all, if you can see, whatever I have done manually, it has just captured those action in the Selenium IDE with the commands. Now let's see how I can do the successful playback if I want to do. So I'm just clicking on this one. Let me just remove this additional test cases over here. I'm just selecting this one. Let's say I want to save this one first, so I will click on File, Save Test Case, go into the desktop. Let's say give it like first demo .html, right? First demo.html. I'm saving this. Let's go into the home, where we can see the actual format of my test case. Yes, it's in Google Chrome. It will get open. Right. So here you can see I have just locally stored my scenario, and then later on I can call this scenario. Right. You can see the number of like type and whatever the commands I have notified, those are recorded in my tabular format. So let's get back to that playbacks, like how I can just check the whole scene that I have recorded. So here just make sure that your state should be in the common base state. Try to run your whole test shoot like this. Play conduct. If you want to run your test shoot, click on the play entire test shoot, but all in all I have only one test case, so I will click on the play current test case. So let's click on the log so that you can see if any failures are there or what. You can just see all those activities captured over here in the log. I will click on this play current test case. Let's see how it goes. Right, so far you can see all the steps are get executed in my console as well as, and most often it's showing me all the actions in the grid, like most often it's get passed. Right, so this is kind of a simple record and playback thing, right? What we were trying in the last session was creating the script manually, but as a beginner, let's say just start with record and playback. Right, any doubt guys in this record and playback? Yes, you can see here it has logged some error. Why this error is logged? Like error of timed out. Like during my execution, from moving from one specific step to another step, it has some time interval, or we can say the think time or the wait time, on which I have to wait for a few seconds. So you can see here from where this think time, or we can say the wait time, is coming here. That is just go into the options, click on to the options. Here the default timeout is 30,000 milliseconds. So during your execution of your script, if any step or any we can say portion of your coding is not able to we can say fetch the, or we can say the specific result during the console, it will show the log like timeout within the 30,000 milliseconds. Right, so that is that thing. Apart from it, let's also get familiar with some good interesting options tab. Like if you can see, I just talked about in the syllabus about like we need to define some custom kind of commands that gonna be act as a Selenium command. Right? Yes, tell me.
One question, like is there any supposing can you cancel this? Cancel the IDE options screen?
Can we? Sorry, can we configure this? Right, means?
No. Can you cancel this particular screen?
Yeah, sure.
Click on cancel.
Yes.
Okay. So now you see there are multiple windows opened up in Firefox.
Right.
So do we have to close the background window and then run the playback, or we have to keep that window open?
That is okay. You can just mainly focus on the current window on which your execution will be played.
So that means that if we are automating any of the application, supposing we're automating an payment system, or you
Right.
can say one user login page.
Right.
So that page should be opened up in the background, and then you run the playback option.
Right.
Then only the value would be inserted and it would get perform the test.
Right.
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 So that should be there. Okay.
Right.
So that is a prerequisite for Selenium, that the application should be online and it should be open.
Yes. If not, if you have not given the URL or you have not opened up the application over here, let's say I'm just closing these two tabs on which I have performed my execution. So just mainly just open up the fresh tab. Already by default we have added the base URL over here. So let's say if I will run again the play entire test shoot, it will automatically open up that application for you. You can see?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It should open the application, right?
Right. So
Okay.
so that is also the case that we can consider here. Okay.
And if we don't give the base URL,
Right, and you will not.
nothing would happen. Right?
Yeah, perfect. So the very first is like open the base URL that you want to open.
Okay.
Right. Then the Jepal has raised the very interesting question, like what if I want to solve the error of the timeout? Right. Yes. The how to fix the timeout issue. Yes. So the question was very interesting. Like let's say yes, it's showing like timeout after 30,000 milliseconds, means 30 seconds. So in my case, what happens actually whenever I will click on the IDE and then I was trying to submit my button, what actually happens during the execution from this step to another step, within the limited time frame of 30 seconds, it is not able to fetch this element on my console or on my web application. That's why it's showing me the 30,000 milliseconds. So we have two ways to define or to solve this error. One is either you can go in the options and then you can change your think time, or you can just increase your think time. And this think time or wait time will be applied for each and every step. But I have observed that I only facing the issue for this specific step. Remaining were are quite going smooth. So you can just give insert new command with some pause, we can say. You can just give the pause and give some limited set of, we can say, milliseconds over here, that will get resolved your errors. So this pause command is generally a wait time, the amount of time that you want to wait for it until your next step is get executed. The another case was like in the options tab, you can see just go into the format. It is showing me like want the format back, click to read more. So the case where I have just notified that we can just convert our script on the variety of languages. By default here it's showing my all recorded session in the HTML. But what if I want to convert the same in the Java, or we can say some another language? So I will go into the options. I will click on the options. Then I will have to click on the enable experimental feature. Just make sure that you have just click on this select checkbox. Checked. This checkbox is checked. Click on OK. And now go into the options tab. Go into the format. You can see the formatters are on, where you can convert your script in the variety of languages. Let's say I want to convert my script in terms of Java WebDriver. So I will click on Java WebDriver. Changing format is now marked experimental. So because of that checkbox checked, now you can convert your script in your Java. I'm click on OK. And now it will show me whatever I have recorded, those all activities along with the Java. Let me just copy this one in the notepad. Later on we can just copy the same coding in the Eclipse and we can modify the same, but I'm not opening that, it will take so much time. But so let's say I'm using a notepad to show you like how the code will look alike if I will whatever I have recorded, the same script I want to see in my WebDriver or some other language. You can see here whatever we have understand in the Java basics, some similar kind of flow, class name, and the declarations are coming out in the picture with the different classes and the different methods, right? Let's say if I want to convert my same code in the PHP, so I will just go into the format. Let's say I want to convert in with the PHP unit. Yes, so this is all about the coding that will be look like in the PHP. Right, let me just format PHP unit. Right, so this is how you can relate your all actions, or you can just see in the variety of languages. Make sure that whenever you will just go into the options, if you will again just deselect this one, you cannot see that options anymore. The formatters will not be there, right? Along with that, now we need to set the breakpoints, let's say, right? We need to understand how we can just shed the breakpoints and clear the breakpoints. So I'm again doing something with my application. I'm just recording this action. I'm just, let's say, do a fresh start with the same application. So still we consider that we have not yet quite good at defining our own command. So I'm just recording and playing back, recording and the playing back. So I'm clicking on the record button. I will just give the URL over here, right? Let's say I just want to open up the, let's say this form, right? Only testing. I want to give some first name over here. So all in all, it is like recorded, right? I'm just clicking on this Anna to hide. Let's say at the runtime it will hide this value. So I'm not entering this. I'm deselecting this. I have a car. Instead I'm selecting I have a bike and the boat. The mail. Select the Audi. Select the Germany, Italy, and add this at the right side. Click on some alert. Hi, this is alert message. Click on OK, and I'm stopping the execution or recording. So again, we have recorded a few of the actions. I'm just clearing this one. Now let's do again a run, successful run, like to check whether all seems okay or whatever we have recorded. I'll click on the run. Yeah, you can see the element is not found because whatever the element is there that I want to open up, like click and wait, it's not over there. So to resolve this, just give the another command, insert new command. Under that, first step will be open the URL on my browser, and then give the slash. Slash means whatever the URL we have in my base URL that I want to open up it. Now let's clear the console and let's try to run the again and observe the results, how it goes. So I'm running the same scenario now. Right, correct. You can see runs are in 1. The only error will be there, like current test case not found in terms of I have not saved the test cases, but no, so far it is not showing me the thing that like my test cases get failed, but the current test case is not found in terms of I have not saved this test case, that's why. So if you can see, my all options are quite in green. Now if I want to set the breakpoint, what I will do, let's say I want to confirm that this specific or we can say this specific command I want to debug, like it should working correctly or what. As a tester's perspective, I want to debug my this specific area, or we can say this specific line of code. So what I will do, I will just click on to the options, sorry, actions, select the set breakpoint. So here I have just set my breakpoint. If I want to clear the breakpoint, you can just clear the breakpoint from the same. Go into the actions, set breakpoint, and clear breakpoint. Let's say if I want to pause my execution on that specific step, so I will select toggle breakpoint. So it will pause my execution on this specific action. The remaining one will not be executed until unless it is not get passed. Right? I will not play this one. So now let's say I have just confirmed that I want to check whether the specific we can say step is working correctly or behaving correctly or what. So what I will do, I'm just running the same test case again. Let's see how it goes now. Right. So if you can see, my execution is get stopped because I have just set my breakpoint. I want to confirm that this specific command is working correctly or what, and that is my check 3. So just parallelly observe the action in my application, like by running this check 3, what it does in my application. So I'm just running this one. Yes, it was checking that I have a boot. Right, so this is all about the debugging purpose, to setting the breakpoint and the checkpoints and to toggle between it. What are the shortcuts to define these checkpoints, or we can say the breakpoints? We can say from the keyboard you can use S key, only S key from the keyboard to set your breakpoint. Use the same S key to delete your or to clear your breakpoint, like this. I'm not going into the action step. I am just operating from the keyboard, right? Like pressing the S key, you can use or you can set your breakpoint on any of the point. What if I want to toggle the breakpoint? So I will give the B, that is my shortcut from the keyboard, to toggle the breakpoint, and then I want to execute it. So what I will do, I will press X to execute my command. So only one command is get executed. Let's say here I will give X to execute my command. You can see it's executing all in all. On every case, you can see it is executing. Click IDE equal to check 3. So let's say later on, if you are just, whenever you are doing your command by your own self, yeah, let's say you are just creating your whole test script by your own, then at the time this kind of checkpoints and the breakpoints will really a great help, by which you can debug your commands. Let's say what if I want to simply run, or if I want to confirm that this command is working properly or not. So I will just simply double click on it and I can verify, yes, it's working correctly or what. Right, you can see for each and every command, yes, Germany is not found. The option with label Germany is not found because in the left section the Germany is already moved in the right section, and I am trying to add this Germany from left to right. So Germany label is not there, that's why showing the error on the console, like Germany option label is not available. Then let's say click on this button, right? So you can see relatively it will execute each and every command of yours. Right? So this is all about with the Selenium IDE GUI familiarity, right? Any doubt, guys? You can just raise the questions now. Okay. If not, then we can just start with some another points along with the Selenium IDE.
Can you come again for the error which you showed for Germany?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, let me show. Yeah, option with label Germany not found means, if you can see, I have selected Germany and the Italy, and I have added it in the right section. Whenever I am playing back this one, ideally my Germany is not there presented in the left section, so it will give me an error named option with the label Germany is not found, because it is already moved from left to right, and I'm again trying to add it from left to right. So I am trying to find the Germany label, but it is not already there in the left section, so that will give me an error named option with the label Germany not found. Let's say if here I will use instead of Germany, I'm let's say using some India, right? And by default my India is in the left section. Right, yeah, right, Jaipal. Every time we will run this, my page will be loaded again. But let's say if this time I am rather giving Germany, I'm giving the label as India, and I'm trying to run it, whether the same error is there or what it goes. So I'm just executing this command by double clicking on it. I can found the label India, right? You can see it is executed. Now it will not show me the error because my label is there. And then let's say if I will just give the input, see, my India is get added in the right section, Rishi. Can you see now?
Yes, yeah.
So that was the case. Like if the German is not there in the left section already, then it will give you error because it already moved during your playback. It's already moved, or in your current project page where you are just trying to relate it. It is already done that action. That's why. Clear, guys? Any doubt in this?
No, no.
Okay. So let's go ahead some another topic. So let's quickly go through the things by the PPT as well. Let me just open up the PPT. So what we have seen so far. So let's do a quick recap on it. Like
Sorry to interrupt. Can you again show that IDE UI?
the in the PPT or in the real time scenario?
No. The real time.
Okay, yeah, let me do that.
Sorry for that, but
Yeah, not an issue. Yeah, this one.
no. Yeah, can you open the IDE?
Yeah, this is the IDE. Yeah.
So now, yeah. So this is the test case which we have. Now, I want to repeat this test case for n number of scenarios. So I can just click on the roll
Up
button.
Yeah, that we need to define. Yeah, we can do that. We can just repeat the case for number of users, but I need to define the rule of roll up.
So how to do that?
Yeah, that we'll see in the upcoming session, right? It's kind of
okay.
Right. So
okay, because what I'm saying is I have some of the scenarios which I can perform it tomorrow in my office.
Okay.
So I can, if you can give me that particular thing, I can just try it at office and do it.
Right. So to define the rollup, what actually you need is you need to define one JS file. Let me just show to you. Okay. It's kind of a quick overview I'm just doing. I'm not giving the complete example, but by that example you can just relate it. Right?
Yeah.
Let me just open up the rollup JS over here.
So that we have to write in Eclipse?
No, you can just even write that in any simple IDE, or you can say Notepad.
Okay. Because in the current application where I'm working, it's like there are multiple payments and multiple templates to be created.
Right.
One after the other. So I just run this particular set and give different values for the different set.
Right.
And run that particular.
So here, this is my user extension dash rollup file which is saved in the JS file. You can see the type is of the file is JS. Let's say I'm opening this JS file. This is all about the VB script. We can say the scripting you have to do, Java scripting you have to do. Like I've created one rule over here. I've created one object, right? Variable object. I've created the rollup rule here with the login commands. Let's say. And I have defined the description. I have defined the arguments. What arguments actually I have to give? I will use the commands.push because I want to push these commands in my Selenium IDE. So what I'm giving is here. Let's say I am just giving like commands.push. Then my first command is open mail.google.com. On my target, I will give command and target. It's a combination of 3 columns, right, guys? Command, target, and value. So I have to give the command, I have to give the target. Then let's say I want to push some values in my email ID and the password. So I will give like, let me give the real time detail over here. So I'm giving some real values like CP. You can say some dummy values I'm giving. I have just created the dummy account. I'm just using the same. Okay. And then finally what I'm doing is I'm just saving this one and I will go my Selenium IDE. This was clear, right? Like we have to define one JS file, right? And then I have to go into the options where I have to feed the user extension that I have created in this area. So I will click on browse, desktop, the search for this user extension.js, it get added. I will click on OK. I'm closing this one. Make sure whenever you will just feed any external JS, you have to restart your Firefox and the Selenium, because Selenium is just an add-in. So to make it workable, it's good to just restart your Firefox and the Selenium session. Right. Once you will just do experiment with the Selenium itself. Clicking on the tools, opening up the Selenium IDE. Let's off the record button. Go into the options. Options. You can see my JS is still faded. Right. This was clear. Like these steps are quite clear now.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say now I want to call the rollup route. Now my button is get enabled. You can see it was not enabled, but now it's enabled because I have feeded some rollup rule here. Also here, let's observe what rollup rule I can define. So I will go rollup. In the target, I have defined the login command, so it will pop up like this, login commands. You can see. Right? Hello.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And now I'm trying to run the same. Let me just stop the execution because I need to change the URL over here with the mail.ht like mail.google.com. Let's say, let's try to run this now. Yes, it's opening the mail. It's adding this one, the login. You can see it's logged in successfully. So whatever the steps actually I have to define, those all are done in the common one command. You can see it's a combination of 4 or 5 commands, right?
Yeah, I got that point. Now the issue is like, see, the last test case which we did about putting the value in the test case, text box, selecting some values.
Right.
So now that is one test case.
Right.
So now there are different other payment in my real scenario. I'll tell you, there are 9 type of payments to be created.
Right.
So now I have 9 scenarios, 9 test cases.
Right.
Okay, so now there will be 9 test cases in IDE on the left hand side. Now I want to run all these 9 test cases one by one.
Okay, I got your point.
And multiple times.
Right. So what I can give it like, just record the one test case for the one payment method. Let's say I'm just giving you the example. jswin.com. JSPin, CISJ, and we can see JSPin. Let's say this is my common URL. That's a JSPin. Consider that this is your payment method URL commonly defined, right? I'll just remove this one. Now what I will do, I will define my one test case and I will give like open. Let's say this one is my first URL, or we can say after clicking on it my URL is get changed, so I will give like slash. So it is get appended with the JSPin after this one. Then this is my another test case. Let's say this one was the first one, this one is my second one. Change these properties. Test case 2. Okay, let's rename this one as well. This one is my test case 1. Let's say this how, let's say I'm just opening the same page but now with the different URL like this. Control C, Control P here, and the last one is new test case again, the third payment method. Let's say properties, define the test case 3. Okay, and again give some URL over here like open, and let's say I'm just clicking on this. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm just closing these two windows. Let me just close all the windows. Let's consider that this is your payment method 1 recorded session, the payment method 2 script, and the payment method 3 script. You want to run it on the single flow, right?
Yes.
So first it will execute my first payment method test case, then after it will continue with the second payment method, and then after it will continue with the second test case 3. So I have to click on this test shoot icon. Just observe what it will do. First is executing the first test case, then test case 2 and the test case 3. I have just only notified the command of open, so that's why it's quite going fast. But if you can see one by one, you can execute one by one all the payment test cases put together in the single flow like this. 3 runs completed. Test case first passed, test case 2 passed, or test case 3 passed. So test shoot completed, 3 played, all passed.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, but is there anything like IDE captures the object and keeps it in the object repository like QTP does?
Right. Those will be supported in the Selenium WebDriver fundamentals. It's not actually managed in the Selenium IDE because Selenium IDE is only the GUI testing. So it has some very limited set of features. But to capture to capture the objects and those, we need to go into some advanced Selenium WebDriver level.
But for the application, any application, this would work, record and play?
Yeah.
No, right?
Yeah, for the application it will work. Record and play mostly work. But you need to modify your script by understanding the flow of it. Like record and playback will always work. Same like QTP. Just you are recording and you are just playing back again, it will work. But make sure that what another additional changes you want to do in your commands, that you need to do for sure.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay.
Then yes.
So that we would be covering in WebDriver, advanced WebDriver.
Yes.
Things, right? Okay.
So let's go with the PPT very quickly. Like the Selenium IDE is kind of integrated development environment for a Selenium test. It is implemented as a Firefox extension. You can record, you can edit and replay your test in the Firefox. Selenium IDE allows you to save your test in the HTML, Java, Ruby script or any other formats. It allows you to automatically add the assertions, right? Another interesting topic coming into here. What is assertions? So consider that I want to do a confirmation, something like that. So what I will do, I will just keep my record button on. You can see I have just kept my record button on, and I will just right click on it, and it will show me show all available commands on my console in the Firefox. Just right click on it, wherever you want to write it, right click on the object, and then it will show you the show all available commands, where you can see list of commands like assert text, assert title. So in my case, I want to assert title named like, or a verifying text like click to launch confirmation box. So I will edit that assertion or verification point over here. You can see, right? Let's stop this execution. Ideally, I just opened the URL first, and then I have added the verification. So let me try to run this specific test case now. So I'm clearing the console and I'm trying to run this test case after adding the verification or the assertion point. Right? It is showing like executing this verification, this, and it's there. This click to launch is there. Let's say I'm just changing with click to launch alert box. Instead of confirmation box, I'm giving alert box. I know that is not my actual result, but I'm just trying to see what it gives on the console. And I'm trying to run the same thing by running my test case. Right. It will show you the error like actual value is click to launch the confirmation box. Instead, you are trying to compare with click to launch the alert box. right? So it's kind of a unit testing, or we can say the GUI testing, or the verification points we can add by the Selenium IDE on the variety of objects like radio button, then checkboxes, tag boxes, right? Any doubt, guys, in this one?
No.
Okay, so that was the case. Like, it allows you to automatically add your assertions at the runtime at all pages. It allows you to add some Selenium command as or when required. Also, using Firefox, first download your IDE from the Selenium HQ official website. This is kind of in the last session we have just done this whole thing. Like, just install it by Firefox add-on from the Selenium HQ official website. It will show you this window where you have to just click on the install now button. Once you will click on the install now button, it will just ask for the restart of the Firefox, and under the tools tab of your Firefox, under the tools menu of your Firefox, you can see that Selenium IDE is getting installed. This is kind of getting familiar with the basic GUI of the Selenium IDE. Then the options tab we have gone through, like setting the text encoding format like UTF-8 by default, then the timeout. Then user extension is a thing like where I can feed my own custom commands in the Selenium IDE. I can just manage the page title assertions. I can just manage the base URL and all those things. How to record a simple Selenium test case. So open the Firefox that has the IDE installed. Open the base URL of the application to record. Keep the application on the common base state. Go into the tools, Selenium IDE, and then IDE will be get opened up. Then you can perform the operations on the application that you are testing in the application. Like, once you are done with this, you have to play it, or you can save it in the form of HTML. So it's kind of whatever we have done practically, I have notified the same in the PPTs as well as. And this PPT is already shared on your drive, so you can just access the same. Okay. Like, the general Selenium commands are click. Then if I want to click and then wait for some element, then I can just click and wait. Similarly, I can have some command like type. If I want to select some values from drop down, it will be like drop down list box select, then radio button, similarly click. Running your first test case. So far I have recorded my test shoot or the test case. Now if I want to run it, make sure your application should be in the common base state, and then you are just running it by fast and slow. If you want to run your whole entire test shoot, you can just use the entire test shoot is you can just simply use the current test case execution. Then after, yeah, this one is the very interesting thing, playing the test shoot with the test runner. So far this icon is get dropped. You can see in the recent Selenium IDE, such kind of icon is not there, that I have highlighted with the play with Selenium test runner. So what was the Selenium test runner actually? So, and why it's not there in the current Selenium IDE versions? So let's just show you the Selenium test runner first, so that we can get an idea here. Search for Selenium test runner. Yeah, this one is the look and feel of the Selenium test runner. Here in this test shoot path, you have to call your test shoot that you have saved in the HTML format. Once you will click on the go, it will show you the list of test shoot that you have created in the HTML format. From this Selenium test runner, you can just control the same fast and slow execution. It will show you the number of passed and failed test cases. It's kind of playing your test shoot, playing your test case, pausing the execution, and jumping on to the next step. You can see the current actions over here. In the bottom of the section, you can see the application is running on and on. But now it's get dropped from the Selenium IDE because we don't need actually anymore. Because once you will click on the Selenium test runner, it will show you that window, and then after you can just call your test shoots, and you can just run your test shoot over here like this. But so far we don't actually need this, because ideally whatever the test shoot and whatever the test cases we want to run, those are directly appearing in the behind the like the Selenium IDE screen, right? You can see the execution behind the Selenium IDE screen in the Firefox. So we don't need any Selenium test runner separately. That's why that button is dropped from the Selenium IDE's recent version or the newer version. Then running options, like running a test case will run your test case. Running a test shoot means run your all test cases put together. Stop and start, pause and play. Stop in the middle, like setting up the breakpoint that I have shown to you. You can just right click on it and you can define the command like set breakpoint, toggle breakpoint. Once you will clear that breakpoint and you will try to run it, your execution will be started from the middle. If you want to run any single command, you just have to double click on that specific command. Then how to add the assertions in my script during my Selenium IDE. So what is assertion actually? So Selenium allows multiple ways of checking for UI elements. Like verifications, assertions are used to check if an element is presented somewhere on my web page, specific text is somewhere on my page, specific text is at a specific location on my page or what, right? So verification and assertion are not one or the same, because if I will use some assertions and if it fails, then my script execution will be aborted. But if I will use the verification, then though my script has not as per my expected versus actual result, it will continue the execution. It will not halt or stop the or terminate the execution of my script. So that is the very small difference between two. If you are using the assertion, if it's not finding the relevant value on your console, it will abort the script. It will not execute the remaining steps that are you have notified after that specific step that is failed. But if you are using some verification points, it will simply log the errors on your console and it will continue with the execution of the remaining steps. Clear guys in this? Any doubt? Okay. Then as I have recently shown, like how we can run or how we can add the run like the commands at runtime. So I just have to right click on my browser and it will show me the show all available commands, and where I can just see the list of command. One of them is like verify text present. So if I want to verify like my text is presented somewhere on my web page or what, I will use verify text present. Similarly, if I want to verify my title of my web page is there or what, I will use verify title. If I want to check that my element is presented or what doing my element? Like radio button, check boxes, drop down, image. So if I want to verify those elements is there or what on my web page, I can go for the command like verify element present. Then verify value, like if I want to verify some value is correct or what, I can go for the check of verify value. Similarly, the assertions, like assertions are same as verifications, but the only difference is, as I mentioned, if the assertion fail, your script will be aborted, but the script will continue run in a case of verification point. So again, the step of inserting the assertion is same like you are adding your verification points. So if you can see, whatever the command we will understand for this like verify, the same commands we can relate for the assertion as well as like assert text present, assert text, assert title, assert value, and assert element present. So whenever the keyword verify you will use in terms of command, just assume that the similar command will be there as well as for the assertion as well as in the Selenium IDE. Like if you are using the assert title, then there will be always a command named verify title. Let's say vice versa, if you are using some command, let's say verify value, then the similar command will be there as well for the assert value. Right? So this is all about the pretty much good overview and the quick start of the Selenium IDE. In the next session, we will continue with the locators, like the address, how to find the address. So we'll see and understand locators. The agenda of the next session will be how to find the locators and getting familiar with the understanding that how we can get the address of any element. Like I was adding something in my target field in my Selenium IDE, how I can define by my own rather recording it, right? because all in all we are automation engineers. So record and playback is not always the case. What if I want to define my script manually? So for that I need a address of the element, or we can say QTP has the object recognition mechanism. Similarly, Selenium has the object recognition mechanism, in other words Selenium locators. So that we'll see in the next session. Let me know if you have any doubt in the today's session. You can raise the points now, guys. Yes, please ask. Rishi, do you have any doubt? Yes, we can export our test case in the any language like Java WebDriver and the Java RC, Python, C#. Right, correct. And that code will be, we will paste it in the Selenium, like yes, Eclipse. So we can use that script directly in the Eclipse. Perfect. Yeah, you are going on a right way. So as a non-coder, that was the best way, because what we will do, we all in all, we are not skilled developers in Java, right? So just convert that script that is recorded in the IDE and then try to copy paste in the Eclipse, and we need to modify somehow, else it will similarly act like Eclipse. So we will same like Selenium IDE. So I will just copy the same script that I have recorded in my Java IDE Eclipse, and I will modify it over there. So we will go in that direction perfectly, right, Jaipal? Any other question, dear?
No, nothing from my end.
Okay, great. So guys, we'll meet in the next session where we will understand some locators, right?
Can we do one thing? Can we do it on Saturday?
Yeah, okay, not an issue.
For
We will, yeah, we
couple of
will.
hours. Jaipal, you okay? Because tomorrow, actually, it's like releases for me on every Friday, and I would not able to attend classes on Friday. So if we can do, oh, you are traveling on Saturday. What time do you travel, Jaipal? Saturday early morning is okay with you?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do on Saturday mornings.
Okay, guys. So just drop one mail by communicating a good timing, right? And I will just get back to you on the timing. Okay, I will just drop one mail from my side for my availability,
Okay.
and we can just have a session on that day, the timings.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for your availability today. We'll meet to next session at the same time. Okay.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
Jaipal, you can ping me what time is suitable for you, so I'll